Hi, I'm Brittany and welcome to Proverbs Study. Thank you so much for watching so far. I hope you're enjoying it. We are studying Proverbs, the whole entire book for the entire year. And we are doing about 3 verses a day, and we will be able to finish all of them by the end. So today we are in Proverbs, still chapter 1. We are in verse 19, 20, and 21. And again, I'm reading from the King James Version and from the Passion Translation. So Proverbs 19 says, "So are the ways of everyone that is greedy of gain, which taketh away the life of the owners thereof. Wisdom crieth without. She uttereth her voice in the streets. She crieth in the chief place of concourse, in the openings of the gates. In the city she uttereth her words, saying." And then you'll have to catch the rest for the next day, because that's kind of like a double one.
Can we have some more French fries?
Okay, sweetie, yes. Close the door, please. And so in the Passion Translation, it says, "In their ungodly disrespect for God, they bring destruction on their own lives. Wisdom's praises are sung in the streets and celebrated far and wide. Yet wisdom's song is not always heard in the halls of higher learning, but in the hustle and bustle of everyday life, its lyrics can always be heard above the din of the crowd. You will hear wisdom's warning as she preaches courageously to those who stop to listen." So I really love the book of Proverbs, and these verses in particular are why, because it speaks of wisdom as a person, and I believe that is key to helping us to understand that God is wisdom, number one. And this is actually an insight into his heart and how he feels, right? And so by wisdom, the worlds were formed. So this is what that makes me think about. But verse 19 is actually a continuation of the last, I believe, 9 verses. And it's talking about the person that invites you to do something wicked, like steal and take advantage of people who are innocent. And so 19 says, their ways, and who are those people who are greedy of gain, their ways take away the life of the owners, right? So everyone that is greedy, they're trying to take the owner's life. And now I can actually testify to this because I used to work at a detention center, and my students would literally be planning out their next heist on paper. They weren't supposed to, but they would. And it will always escalate. Their conversations will always escalate to the point where they would reveal that they were about to take the person out. Like, they didn't go in there planning to, hurt anybody, but because of them, either about to get caught, or the anxiety that comes with doing something foolish like that, being in somebody's house for no reason, those owners, they don't know if they have weapons or not. And so my students would come strapped as well and be ready to kill. And so this type of thing that people do, if you're greedy, greed and any type of sin always leads to a deeper form of sin. So this greed of gain is very dangerous. In the Passion, it says their ungodly disrespect for God. They're just straight disrespectful of God, but they bring destruction on their own lives. And so the admonishment here from Proverbs is to not follow in people's ways. Do not accept their invitation. Say no. Do not let your feet walk in the path that they are walking, because it actually leads to the end of their own life, and then eventually yours, if you're following in their way. And then verse 20, it starts to talk about wisdom as a person, which is my favorite part, a couple of my favorite verses. So wisdom's praises are sung in the streets and celebrated far and wide. Wisdom crieth without, like it cries. It's crying. It's like shouting. It's like, please listen. Please be wise. Please use wisdom. That's wisdom crying, right? She's crying in the chief place of concourse, or the the wisdom that should be in certain places of higher learning, or in the highest courts, right? The highest place of education, the highest place where you would be able to attain knowledge. Sometimes wisdom is not even used there, but it's crying, right? It's crying out. And then in the openings of the gates, which is significant because gates were a place of judgment in biblical times. These were the place where you would go, and the courts would be in the gates of the city, right? The people who were the wisest would sit at the gates, and then they would come and bring their problems to help, determine between you and another person what is right. This is where wisdom cries, at the opening of those gates. So wisdom is crying in the openings of those gates. That means that wisdom should have a place in courts, in the court system. In the court system is where wisdom should have a place, because it's crying there. It's asking, it's crying out, please use me. Please use wisdom. Please use wisdom to not allow somebody to do the same thing they did by electing them into the office that they did the foolish thing in the first place in. Please use wisdom. Please use me. In the hustle and bustle of everyday life, right? Wisdom can also be found. So just in the daily mistakes that we make, or the things that we see other people do, and we're like, I don't have to do that. Learn my lesson there, because it wasn't mine to learn. I just looked, and I took that lesson for myself. I didn't have to stumble like that person did. Ooh, missed that one. Okay, you will hear wisdom's warning as she preaches courageously to those who stop to listen. And so this is why I believe the Lord is having me do this study and do it in this way, is because there is wisdom that is needed. We need to be walking in wisdom. The days are very evil, right? And there's so much for us to face. And when we don't walk in wisdom, we can trip up so easily. And so I hope this Proverbs study encourages you. I hope you keep coming back and even sharing this, because we all need wisdom. And the Lord wants me to use my gift of knowledge and understanding, and the spirit of wisdom, and the teaching gift that he's given me, just to share some thoughts of how the perspective, how these scriptures speak to me. So thank you. I love you, and have a wonderful day.